Welcome to a very special video that I filmed with my friend and English teacher, Simon. Simon is going to walk us through the English used in the LGBTQIA plus community. Now, I'm really interested in the way that this community uses English, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. Eat Sleep Dream English is all about fresh, modern English, and the language used in this community is a great example of that. We're going to look at how they use pronouns to help them talk about identity. We're also going to look at lots of vocabulary and phrases that started in this community but are now widely used in English. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of other things related to English in this community. This isn't a complete list of phrases and vocabulary, but it's an example to show you that English is a dynamic, living, breathing entity. So without further ado, please enjoy my chat with Simon. Hello EC Dreamers, and welcome to another video with me. Today I'm joined by Simon.
Hello!
Hey, Simon.
Hi.
Simon is my friend and we used to work together as well, a very experienced English teacher. And he's going to walk me through the language of the LGBTQIA plus community. I'm very excited about this. From what I've seen, this community has created a lot of fascinating language, used English in very interesting ways to talk about identity, and so we're going to kind of get into that today.
Yes, I'm very excited. I'm so happy you finally invited me to do a video with you, and I can't wait to talk about this very fascinating topic.
Alright, so let's start off with this umbrella term, the LGBTQIA plus. Can you break that down?
It's a lot of letters.
Yeah,
it's growing and growing, so it used to just be LGBT, and now it's adding, because it is, as you said, an umbrella term for all of these, all of us who feel that we don't fit under the heteronormative umbrella.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, that's another tricky word.
Yeah. So let's start off with the L.
The L is lesbian.
Okay.
G for gay. B for bisexual. T for transgender.
Okay.
Q for queer. I for intersex. And A is for ally. And then we've now added a plus, because we can't put every letter of the alphabet in it, so
right.
The plus means those who don't fit under those letters.
Those sounds okay. We break down a few of those. First, I want to go back to Q, because I know this word queer to be quite a derogatory term. So can you talk me through why is it? How has it changed? No.
I think it depends. I'm queer in the UK, certainly. You know, a few years ago, maybe in the 80s, the 90s, even the noughties, was used as a derogatory term.
Yeah.
But queer, in fact, means anyone who isn't straight. I was going to say. So this could be, often it's used to describe someone who's queer even in their behaviour.
Okay.
So it's someone who's not necessarily gay or lesbian or bisexual, but is different to those heteronormative values.
Okay. And so instead of saying the word the gay community, would it be more acceptable to say the queer community? Is that?
I mean, it depends. There's a lot of politics out there about this. You know, some people, you know, I'd be happy to say, yeah, I'm a member of the gay community, but you know, that word gay doesn't encompass all. Okay. So yeah, you might want to say the queer community. Okay,
because it's more all-encompassing.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to, so what was the I again?
The I was intersex.
Okay, what?
Yes.
Can you explain that?
So intersex is someone who is by biological sex neither male or female.
Okay.
So someone who is intersex may have been born with parts of biological parts of both male and female. Okay. Yeah.
And then you talk about the A as being the ally. So an ally is someone that supports these communities.
Yeah, exactly. So yourself, for example, you're a big ally of the LGBTQI plus community. So yeah, this is, I think, probably the newest addition to this umbrella term. So yeah,
absolutely. I guess is the concept here that we're not looking at things as being binary, as being one or the other, like you're either a man or a woman. It's more fluid than that now.
Absolutely. Society traditionally wants to label us. You know, as human beings, we can only cope with being labelled with one thing. He is male, she is female.
Right.
So as you said, it's not binary, it's more fluid. Think about people on a spectrum. Yeah, so this LGBTQI plus term is on a spectrum. So it's everybody from L, everybody to A. Right. So there are some people who feel they don't conform to traditional labels such as male or female, or traditional labels such as gay or straight. So some people refuse to have themselves defined.
Okay. Let's go through T. What does the T stand for?
So the T is a term in the LGBTQI umbrella that refers to someone who is transgender. Now, people often get this confused with someone who is transsexual, and I cannot stress enough that transgender is about your gender identity. It is not about your biological sex.
Right, okay.
So we could describe someone as a transgendered male or a transgendered female, for example.
Okay.
So somebody who has who was once identified as male, now identifies as female,
right.
A transgender female.
And nothing biologically has changed, but for them, their identity has changed.
Maybe their biological sex has changed, but transgender people, hey, it's not our business to know what's happened downstairs.
Okay. And let's quickly look at
heteronormative.
Heteronormative.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Heteronormative is used to describe people who follow traditional values in society, things that are expected of them.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily a negative thing, but now when we talk about LGBTQI+, we're thinking about values and norms of behavior which are outside what is traditionally seen as right or wrong.
Okay. Okay. And I guess that comes from heterosexual.
Yeah.
So it's derived from heterosexual, meaning
right.
sort of straight. I guess we would say straight these days. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got heterosexual, and then we've got homosexual. So these now are really kind of very aged terms, and really they're not the preferred terms in the LGBTQI+ community. So now just say gay or straight. That's fine.
Okay, and when someone is ready to share their sexual orientation or their gender identity, what's the terminology that we use in English?
Well, somebody who is not ready to share, we would describe as being in the closet.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you're ready to finally share with your family, your friends, who you really are, then we would say you come out.
You come out, okay.
Yeah, so it's to come out of the closet. So we might say, for example, I came out when I was 16 years old.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Which was, not too long ago.
Yeah. Okay, so you come out or you are out, you could use it as
you say I'm out. Yeah, I'm out to my family, to my friends.
Right.
But yeah, as you said, this is also for people who want to share their gender identity as well. So people who are transgender would come out as transgender.
Okay.
Yeah. Look at a good example, Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay.
So she came out as transgender fairly recently.
Now, what's fascinating to me is the use of pronouns to talk about identity, and this is kind of the heart of this whole video, is looking at how we use language to talk about identity and to help people represent who they really are. I was watching one of my favourite programs, Billions, and there's a gender-neutral character there, and one of the first things they say as they announce themselves into the series is, I answer to the following pronouns, boom, 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 boom.
Right.
So can you talk to us about how we use pronouns now?
Yes, I mean, pronouns that you use to describe yourself really are about your own preferences. Yeah. So it really depends how you wish to be called.
So for example, I answer to he and him, those kind of pronouns, whereas it's a bit more...
Yeah, it's complicated. I mean, pronouns really aren't about your sexual orientation. So yeah, I'm a gay male, but I'm still referred to as he or him or his. So, but for those who do not identify typically as male or female, it gets a little bit more complicated. So there is a pronoun that some people, non-gender conforming individuals use, which is Z-E.
Okay.
So this one is when we use this when someone doesn't want to label themselves, or they don't want to be labeled by others.
Okay.
Or that they feel that the label they're given is doesn't represent them. Or maybe they feel that the label they're given is not representative of who they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In the program that I saw, this character used they, them, and their.
Yeah.
Is that quite common as well for someone maybe gender neutral?
I think so, absolutely. I think the pronoun Z is something very new, and there's a lot of politics around it at the moment. Not everybody likes to use this term. So yeah, you could use a safer term like them, their, or they to refer to someone, and that's encompassing of all.
Yeah, and I think this is interesting because for so long in so many texts and literature, we've used he and him as just the baseline, the neutral, if you're talking about, it could be male or female, we just use the masculine pronoun, and this is changing now. And so I've done a lesson on exactly this, about like if you don't know the gender of someone, or if you don't want to refer to it. I would use they or them. And so I think the changing of how we approach identity is coming through language. I think it's really interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, now we also see she coming before he. Sometimes we'll see an S with a slash and then a he, so she. So yeah, there's a lot of talk about this. I think it's great that we're finally putting some equality back into our pronouns that we're using.
Yeah, definitely. And then I wanted to get onto the innovation of language in this community, because I watched a really fantastic film called Paris is Burning, which you guys have to watch. It's fascinating, interesting documentary into
the ballroom culture.
The ballroom culture, yeah. But yes, the ballroom culture in New York.
Yeah.
And anyway, so from that came so many words that have now become popular and commonly used in today's English. So I wanted to look at a couple of those. So one of them was to throw shade. To throw shade. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so when we throw shade at someone, we it's like an insult, but it's not meant to hurt them. So it's like a light insult. So I might say, for example, Tom, are you sure that was the best shade of blue for the video today?
Right.
Yeah. Tom isn't offended by it, so it is throwing shade.
Okay, so maybe a little bit offended.
A little bit.
And so you can throw shade as the verb, or shade it can be used as a noun as well, right? Oh,
yes.
That was shade.
Yes. Well, actually, you could use it as an adjective. You could say, Simon, you're so shady. Or you could say, that was shady.
Right.
That was shady. Why did you say that? That was quite shady.
Okay, so when you're kind of making fun of someone.
Yeah, it's like when you're making fun of them, but you don't want to hurt their feelings. Okay. And often shade is used between friends. Yeah, so it's fine. We can both take it. So,
it's quite playful.
Yeah, it's playful.
All right. Then another word that came up was to vogue. This is a term now that's widely known, right?
Yeah.
Because Madonna took this word from that, I think, that film, that culture.
She did, yeah.
What does it mean, like?
Well, yeah, Madonna, she came out with that in 1990, so when voguing was a big thing at the time. So voguing was, in a simple way, dancing, but through the use of your hands. A very energetic, this isn't a very good example, but very energetic hand movement. So it was it came out of the ballroom culture that started in New York. Madonna was very inspired by it, and then she made a song about it.
Okay.
But voguing actually has made a bit of a comeback these days as well. So for example, in the club that I often go to, there's now a group of young gay guys who are voguing. I saw them voguing on the stairs and everything. So I think voguing's making a comeback.
So it's just to do like dancing with your hands? Yeah,
it's a type of dance which you use your hands to express yourself and express your movement through the use of hands and use of face as well. In
the film, it was seen as almost like a battle, but without violence. It was two people kind of dueling, almost like a dance-off.
Yeah, it's a dance-off, exactly. So. And another term we use in the community is to serve face.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's this dance move as well. You would serve face. So serving face is serving expression through your face. If you're feeling angry, if you're feeling passionate, if you're feeling ecstatic, serving face.
Okay, cool. So we talked about Paris is Burning, which is a film from a couple of decades ago. What are the current shows that kind of represent the community these days?
I would say one that perhaps represents the G and sometimes even the T of the community is RuPaul's Drag Race. This is a massive thing now, which is on Netflix, and it's started many years ago. And we talked before about language such as throwing shade, voguing, reading. All of this language comes up again in RuPaul's Drag Race because RuPaul is host, who is a drag queen. It was very inspired by Paris is Burning. So now a lot of young people watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and there are phrases that are evolving, which are coming up. So drag queens themselves. There's a lot of language that drag queens are using nowadays in this show, and this is being fed into the LGBTQI+ dictionary, let's say. So a lot of evolving, emerging terms. So it's a growing, vast dictionary of terms.
Yeah, and because of the popularity of this show, and because it's on Netflix, it goes across communities, right? It's in the mainstream.
Yeah, exactly.
Mainstream community.
Absolutely, yeah. The great thing about RuPaul's Drag Race is that perhaps before, this was mainly watched by gay people, but now there are so many other people watching this. There are straight people watching this. It is a great show that has become mainstream, and it's educating people about vocabulary and also about the history of LGBTQI+ politics. So it's great.
Yeah. can we talk about drag itself?
Yes.
Talk me through what drag is and how it helps people show their identity. And
yeah, so drag is a term that doesn't sit under the umbrella term because it doesn't describe your gender identity and it doesn't describe your biological sex. So someone who is a drag queen is someone who enjoys performing. So we have a drag queen who is typically a biological male who may dress up in very extravagant clothing, you know, huge hair, big exaggerated makeup to express himself. This is about performance. And then we also have the term drag king as well. So this describes someone who is perhaps traditionally biologically female who would dress up as a male. So again, for performing. So drag is not to be confused with transgender. So we have drag queen and transgender male, transgender female, very different.
And RuPaul is
RuPaul is like the mother of all drag queens. Yeah, she is Mother Ru, which people describe her as. So, but there are hundreds, thousands of drag queens out there now, and RuPaul's Drag Race again has given birth to a whole community of drag queens.
Fantastic.
And drag kings.
Drag kings. Simon, thank you so much. What a fascinating tour into the community and the language that's a part of it and has come from it. Incredible. I hope that was useful for you guys, that you found it interesting. I think, as I said before, this is just a fascinating exploration into how language is changing and evolving and where do we get some phrases from and the etymology and all that kind of stuff. It's brilliant. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. I've even educated myself. So a pleasure.
Wonderful. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, I'm back every Tuesday and Friday with fresh, modern British English. Until next time, this is Tom and Simon saying goodbye.
Bye.